Hello, and welcome back to Quantitative Reasoning Online. We're working on Lesson 10A. We just went over the interact tutorial for Fibonacci, the Fibonacci number, and also clarified this between a linear and an exponential function. So let's go look at the questions that supports these works. So question 1. Let's check the window. All right. Complete the table of values for y equals 3dx. Create a graph of this equation. Okay, so 3dx, so I know it'll be linear. So basically, oh, here we go. So we were looking at, in this case, 3 times 4. Of course, 3 times 4 is 12. Then 3 times 5, or 15. 3 times 6, 18. 3 times 7, 21. 3 times 8, 24, and finally 3 times 9, which is 27. So let's see we're right. Alrighty. Okay, make a graph. Well, what kind of graph we're going to make? Well, linear, absolute, quadratic going up, quadratic going horizontal, a circle. I know we're doing a straight line. So let's look at a couple points. I am going to use the coordinate pair 4, 12. So here's 4. I'll put a point here at 12. All right. And then my next point, let's do 9, 27. Of course, every point in between. Doesn't do that. That's fine. Okay. So let's look at x equals 6. Go up there. Oh, yep, that's 18. 8 is 24, so it tracks. Okay, check answer. We got it. All right. 1 of 4. Okay. Next question. So straight line. Apply the create x and y points. Use 2 of them to make my curve. Now let's do a table for y equals 2dx. Okay, so this case would be 2 to the 3rd, 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 6th, 2 to the 7th, and 2 to the 8th. Well, 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. All right. Now let's multiply that by 2 again. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay. Now let's multiply by 2 again, which is 32. Multiply by 2 again, 64. Again. And again. So each of these are just going to be basically another times 2 from the previous number. Yeah. And now choose the correct graph. Are you kidding me? Okay. So let's see. Let's rule out what we can definitely rule out. We know it's not this guy. For one thing, the straight line, and it doesn't get very gets somewhere close to 256. Same with here, horizontal line, that's a constant. Okay. This guy goes 0 to 256, which is what I have, 256. But 256 occurs more out here. So this goes up way too quickly. It can't be that one. So it has to be this guy. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is 8. And there's your 256. 7. I'm not sure what the scale here is, but something less than half of it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the halfway point. Has to be this guy. Let's not make the problems too obvious. Okay. I go pause for a second. I had a sneeze. Okay, compare the value of the dependent variables from y equals 3x and y equals 3 to the x. Choose a description of the graph for y equals 3x compared to y equals 3x. Remember, this was like in the tutorial. Y equals 3x, we do something like this. And y equals 3 to the x, we do something like that. So A, the growth is similar, not on your life. 3x is more rapid than 3x, definitely. 3x is more rapid than y equals 3 to the x, definitely not. Has to be B. What number is raised to a power? Yeah. All right. Okay, ooh, Fibonacci. All right. Let's consider the puzzle. So remember this. Remember what we do here. We'll do adding the one above to adults, or this month's adults plus last month's juveniles. Okay. And this month's juveniles is equal to last month's adults. So we have in 1 January, we have one juvenile, no adults. So that means so February, those juveniles would become adults, but since there were no adults, there'll be no juveniles. All right. Since there's no juveniles, there's no one to grow up to be adults. So 1 plus 0 is 1. But we have one set of adults, so that we'll have some juveniles. Oop, kind of blocked this guy a little too much here. All right. So next month, these juveniles are now adults. I have these juveniles. So that should give me nuts. That should give me 2 adults. Okay, 2 adults. And since I have 1 adult here, that should then give me, for next month, 1 pair of juveniles. Okay. All right, so next month, these juveniles grow up to be adults. So these juveniles become adults, and this month's worth of adults, we now have 3 adults. These 2 adults, pairs, will will then create or provide 2 juvenile pairs. Next month, these 2 juveniles grow up to be adults. We'll add these 3 current adults to 5. And these juveniles, these 3 adults will then give us 3 pairs of juveniles. These are all just the additions of the juveniles plus the adults. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. And 3 plus 5 is 8. So make sure 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1, 2 is 3, 2, 3 is 5, 3, 5 is 8. And then this one will just double these numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. And then 2 times 8 is 16. And just make sure. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. And 6 plus 10 is 16. So it is following the Fibonacci sequence. So remember how this works. This month's juveniles are added to the current pair of adults. It takes a month for juveniles to become an adult. And whatever adults you have is basically going to tell you how many juveniles you have the next month. And it just keeps on building from there. Check my answers. Correct. Okay, after 6 months as elapsed, how many pairs of rabbits would you have if none of the rabbits died? There would be how many pairs of rabbits? Total number of rabbit pairs. After 6 months, looks like there'd be 8 pairs. Can you see a pattern in the number of pairs of rabbits? Can you see a pattern and determine what would happen in December? How many pairs would you have in December? Oh, lovely. 6. That'd be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7 should be from the 2 months before that, 5 and 8, which should be 13. Month 8 should be 8 plus 13 for 21. And these two should combine for number 9. 34. And so forth. Keep adding. 21 and 34 is a 55. Then 89. Then 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry the 1. 13, 144. So 144 pairs which you have in December. Okay. Yeah, so once we have the first couple months worth, all we're going to do is to get this month, we look at the 2 previous months. To get that month, look at the 2 previous months and add them up. Pretty wild. Okay. Save. And that is the conclusion of Quantitative Reasoning Online, Lesson 10A, preview assignment, both the tutorial and the questions. So now go back and do the questions on your own. Maybe you're doing the side-by-side and split screen, I don't know. This is done now, so why don't you proceed and, of course, do them yourself, and then work with Stephanie on the workbook. Make electronic copies, PDF pictures, upload them, and then the practice assignment. Good luck, and I'll see you later on for Lesson 10B.